This is the 5th video in the World's Debrief series, covering Stage 17. It was a 4-position stage, fairly straightforward, with targets lined up, with a bit of elevation between 1 and 2. The shooting order alternated from position to position. You'd start shooting 1-2-1, and then the next position you'd start with 2-1-2, and so on and so forth. I want to dive a little bit into win budgets and how I plan a stage. The key factors to consider are the target size and the group size. Here, both targets were 0.8 mils, and from testing, my average group size at 93 meters is about 0.3 mils, give or take. Picture this sample diagram. The white circle is the target, the red circle is my group. Note these diagrams are not to scale. You can see my group size is slightly offset to show how spindrift pushes a group to the right. If you don't account for spindrift, I lose margin on the right side of the plate while gaining margin on the left. By shifting my point of aim to account for spindrift, I even out the margins to about 0.25 mils either way. How do I get this? 0.8, subtract 0.3 is 0.5, divide by 2 is 2.5, it's 0.25. That's roughly 2 to 3 miles per hour of full value wind before I run out of plate. This is of course a worst case scenario, as it would require my bullet to be on the outermost downward side of the group, but in actuality the probability of this happening are quite low. Either way, it's just one way to think about it. So, what do I do with this information? What this tells me is if my impacts stay within my expected group, I won't immediately correct. The only time I will make a correction is if I see 2 or more rounds stacking on one side, or if a shot goes outside of my expected group. Before starting, I noticed the wind was definitely more than 2 miles per hour, but it was swirling and not consistent in direction. So given I didn't know which direction the wind was coming from, I chose to account for spindrift and maximize my margins on both sides of the plate and let the plate give me feedback. As it turned out, all my shots stayed within my expected group, so I never needed to adjust further. While this may be anticlimactic, the point is, thinking this out ahead of the stage prepares you to quickly translate what you're observing into actual wind values while you're shooting it without having to do it on the fly. One interesting thing about this stage was there actually was a wooden plank below it as part of the prop, and depending on if you put your bipod on that wood or in the dirt, it would depend how much bipod height you would need. Luckily my teammates ahead of me figured this out, and I chose to use the wood, and I had the proper bipod height so I didn't have any issues getting the target in sight.